各位听众，大家好，我们今天晚上的那个讲座就现在开始，非常感谢大家的参与。我们今天的这个讲座是，我们正好是跟东南大学建筑学院和我们的这个群岛工作室是联合主办，正好是同济大学出版社有一本书，也是我们和总本老师在好多年以前就一直说起，然后经过了很长一段时间吧，制作终于最近这本书终于出来了。我们也希望这本书的出来以后能给我们带来一些建筑学上的一些新的思考。所以呢，我们今天呢也趁这个机会呢，我们邀请了我们的总本由晴老师来给我们大家来做这么一个讲座。那么这本书的名字呢叫做COMMONALITIES， 也就是共有性行为的生产。那么今天晚上的这个讲座呢，是由东南大学建筑学院和群岛工作室共同举办的。那么在我们讲座之前，我们先请东南大学建筑学院的葛明副院长给我们先做一个小小的一个致辞吧。好，有请葛老师。
好，谢谢一鸣老师，谢谢秦磊主编，也非常高兴。东南大学建筑学院能够和群岛工作室一起举办总本由晴教授这个讲座，以及以后可能会举行的一次讨论会。那我想众所周知，总本由晴教授呢是国际著名的建筑师，也是当代最重要的设计研究家之一。他是东京工业大学教授，他的妻子贝岛桃代教授呢，现在在瑞士联邦理工大学做教授。他们两个共同成立了非常著名的犬吠工作室，发表过一系列的重要的研究成果。那我们也知道总本由晴教授和贝岛桃代教授呢，他是日本著名建筑家坂本一成教授的弟子，也就是说是小原一男学派目前这个他的后续中间的重要人物。那么这个总本由晴教授呢，跟东南大学建筑学院也有很长的一些渊源。他到东南大学就举行过讲座，然后也参加过研讨。那我们知道总本由晴教授他在设计之外有一系列的研究，包括东京塑造，包括窗，包括行为学等等的研究。那么这一次他的这本著作《共有性》呢，我们都期待已久。那么具体呢，我想因为郭屹民老师参与了翻译，那对这本书更有发言权。我想，现在呢，就是我想再次感谢总本由晴教授的演讲，也谢谢郭老师的主持。Thank you。
OK， 那我们闲话少说，我们就开始我们的讲座。Professor Tsukamoto, shall we start?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, good evening. Thank you for having this opportunity to speak about commonalities. And I'm very glad to know that commonality is now translated in Chinese and available for Chinese readers. And I'm really looking for the reactions and feedback from China about our thought on commonalities. And so I like to share my screen. Today I like to talk about how commonality, about commonalities, but starting from the behaviorology, which we have developed or since from the beginning of our career. And Mojokoshi. Okay. And okay. これじゃない。Sorry. I have to start from Pet Architecture Guidebook. 違うな。 あれマイクロパブリックスペース。Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I like to start from these two books, Made in Tokyo and Pet Architecture Guidebook, published in 2001. Both are based on the urban study, field survey in Tokyo. And the left one, the yellow book, Made in Tokyo, is discussing about the hybrid environment found in Tokyo. And there are many unexpected combination between civil engineering structure and architecture, or sometimes there are quite a humorous combination between unexpected functions like driving car school on the rooftop of a supermarket. We call this supercar school. And then right one is Pet Architecture Guidebook, collecting tiny little building in Tokyo. They are quite small, so the customization by the users become foreground of the building. So it really tells the spatial practice of the people who appropriate that corner of the city by their profession or by their dream or by their daily activities. And the existence of these tiny little building is almost like a dog and cat in our society. We human society consist also with certain animals, and we call them pet. And so this building is not a magnificent public building and a functional office building on the beautiful museum, but besides these proper architecture, we also find this interesting knowledge and a kind of intelligence to live with the surrounding environment in these pet architecture. So we collected them, and then both books were very well received by the architectural audience, and but at the same time art audience. So many curators called us to participate into the biennale, art biennale or triennale in many different cities in the world. And the first one was Manga Pod, which was in Gwangju. And then left side, this is Aoyama Real Estate Company in Aoyama Street, and which is an extremely narrow and deep building. And curator of Gwangju Biennale asked us to design pet architecture in the extremely large exhibition space for Biennale. And we proposed this Manga Pod as a rest space for audience, for the visitors, and to concentrate on reading manga comics, weekly journal of manga. And this is the first project we call micro public space. and then and then in the next project, sorry, I have to skip. Yeah, and the next project is in Shanghai, 2001, for Shanghai Biennale, furnish cycle, and we visited Shanghai, and then see so many bikes and furniture on the street, and it's a very nice moment to visit Shanghai because never happening in the Pudong area. It's still Shanghai people are spending time a lot on the street together with these furnitures, working and dining and cooking and one street is fully occupied by the food stalls, and then the street is bike and tricycle to bring goods, and one street is dedicated to non-motor vehicle. But at that moment, the new development in Pudong area tried to kick these daily activity out. So they didn't allow to go there on bike. They didn't allow the furniture on the street. And then, but I thought it's quite pity because these behaviors of the people on the street really appropriate open space in the city, transform them into public space. And then we designed this furniture and cycle together in different directions. So when they are riding, it's a bicycle, tricycle, but when they come together in the rear side, it forms a kind of living set like this, and serve for the place to drink tea together with friends. And and then it disappear. And this is a very successful, and I realized that this kind of project is really good training for us to imagine how public space can be emerged and practiced by the people instead of just given from the governors or architects as a kind of defined space as public space. So, and then commonalities じゃなくて次は、and then after several, we also designed the houses and several buildings, like and then gradually we start to realize that behavior is very important concept to explain our buildings, our architectural practice. But at the same time, it can be quite alternative theoretical framework to redefine architecture and redefine our livelihood. And in this book, Behaviorology, Architecture of Atelier, published in 2010, discussed three different types of behavior. And the first one is nature and material and climate. light, wind, heat, humidity. They all behave based on the natural principle. And the second is human. We all behave, and these behaviors are slightly different according to the place, and it's quite related to the habitus and custom. And we human beings learn behaviors on growing and to become adult, and then this we internalize the certain canons based on what you can do, what you shouldn't do, what you should do in these circumstances and in this context, etc. And then this behavior is so in that sense, behavior is already embedded in each individuals, and it's shared among people, and it forms social canons and also bonds between people. And so if circumstances are set, the people start behaving in natural manner. The third one is building. And building also behaves. But it sounds strange, but if you take 50 years long time scale, 100 years long time scale, and then you can observe the constant transformation of the buildings in the place, and at the same time, or if you go to foreign country, and then you enter into the streetscape produced by the repetition of the buildings, and then these buildings are quite different from your hometown's building. Like so, Parisian streetscape is different from Tokyo's streetscape. And but there are these buildings in each city have similarities with subtle differences between them, and this repetitive aspect, which is inherited from the past and repeated and reinterpreted again in more contemporary context. I think this typological this is basically called typology and genealogy of types, and these typology can be also considered, can be understood as behavior of the building in different places. And architecture design is very powerful because we can synchronize, we can integrate, we can make these three different type of behavior work together to bring us a more delightful moment and joyful experience, peaceful livelihood. And so the behaviorology is based on this understanding of behaviors, and try to connect, for example, the different theory like environment, the passive solar design, deal with the behavior of the nature, and architectural programming deal with human behaviors, and typomorphological approach to design the building in the city deal with buildings behaviors. And so all these three are quite separately discussed. And but I found it's pity that all these theories are quite useful and relevant for us. But once you start talking about typology, the discussion start to ignore the thermal performance and light performance, wind performance, all these kind of things. And once you start talking about programming, and then the typology is somehow criticized, and also natural phenomena like are not less important than the discussion of environmental design, etc. So I think it's very important to let them work together. And another aspect of the behaviorology is it's a theory to integrate sense of time, sense of rhythm. So rhythm is very important because behavior can be different according to the time scale or rhythm you apply to watch. And there is in terms of human behavior, we can observe certain behavior immediately in 1 hour or repeated in other repetition. But the everyday's cycle, like wake up in the morning, having breakfast, go to work or study, and having lunch, and sometimes go to restrooms, and sometimes fell asleep on the desk, and then becomes a little bit tired, and then go back to home and have suppers or dinners, and then taking baths and go to bed and wake up morning again. So this is a daily rhythm of our behavior. And from this distance, from this resolution, we behave almost same. But for example, annual festival, this is also behavior, but a repetitive behavior, but the annual rhythm. And so, as I explained already, building behaviors needs longer time scale, means longer rhythm to repeat or to regenerate. So, based on this idea of behaviorology, we developed a more specific study on different topics, and we focused. We also worked on window behavior because window is the most attractive element to observe different type of behavior. So this is a place where natural behavior and the human behaviors and building behavior gathers. So, and the manner to collect all these behaviors and make them work together can be a concept of each windows, embedded in each windows. And then if we withdraw this concept from the existing windows everywhere in the world, and then we can apply this concept to the today's practice. And for example, this left one is windows of Louis Kahn's house, and articulated into the windows with fixed glass. The slabs for view, eyes, and then the little openings, openable part, now it's closed by wooden shutter, is for wind. And then the last one at the bottom is seat, fixed to the window frame. So there are three different, the design of this corner window is based on the articulation of three different behaviors which can gather at this corner window. And so light, and view, and wind, and sitting. So, and then right side, this is unexpected behavior, but it's also explains this lady, the girl who is quite energetic and not conventional, how to say, girl, conventional, polite girl, but she's very attractive. So she played guitar while sitting on the windowsill, watching outside, and so it shows characteristic which doesn't really, who are not really flamed, or who can't be who can't be captured by the existing framework of the society. So she's trying to go out from the conventional frame of what is girl, what is woman, and so it's a My Fair Lady from the film of My Fair Lady. It covers so many interesting windows, which tells the life of the people there, but same time the climate there, and also history. For example, we call this sitting window from Istanbul. So it reflects the canons of Muslim culture, which doesn't allow women to show their faces to the public. So the window is covered by the screen, but the composition wise, it's protruding out from the wall. So the lady can watch down the street from these windows without being watched by the people walking on the street. And this is not dedicated for the view, but dedicated for the accumulation of the light from the window, or accumulation of the heat from the direct sun through the windows. So you can stay there while the sun is shining from behind you. And so, yeah, this is approach in Italy. We call this window in the window. This big openings is repeat everywhere, and small windows are installed within it. And so there are two different scales integrated into one window behavior. The one in these large openings is for the husband who fish on the boat, so they can recognize their home from the boat from the far. And then, but for the daily life, they need more practical windows for showers, for bathroom and bedrooms, etc. So these practical windows are installed within this large window. So this is a window in the wind. So it's in Jaipur, and this is a storm screen 7 centimeter thickness with a lot of openings and producing the cool breeze by absorbing the heat from outside, and it's really cools the air, and so if you close your cheek, you really feel a very subtle breeze coming from this stone screen. And okay, I maybe I should stop this window study. And yeah, we did the 3 books. One is the first one is this kind of concept of the windows from all over the world. The second one, Windowscape 2, is about repetition of the windows on the street side. So it's more about the streetscape created by the repetition of the windows. And then the third one is the behavior, window behavior in the atelier of the traditional craftsmen in Japan. And the window work together with people in order to throw the, too much steam away from the production process, and etc. So, so this is Windowscape, and then after this Windowscape, window behaviorology, we also developed further the study on the public space, inspired by the micro public space practice in different places in the world. And we edited and we published this book, Commonalities, which is now translated in Chinese. In this book, we focused more on the public space and how the public space is appropriated by the people's behavior. So in this book, it's production of the behaviors and commonality of the behaviors and the relational space of behavior were investigated. And for example, I like to show several examples how we approach to investigate, how we approach to the public space. So this is one of the scene. This is a scene in Denmark, Copenhagen, and the Dronning Louise Bridge in the middle of the city. It has a quite large, wide sidewalk. Yeah, it's enlarged a few years ago, and then now the young people are sitting on the sidewalk, watching the sunset until the end, enjoying the drinking beer and playing guitars and chatting each other, and so people appropriate this one side of the sidewalk and leaning on the stone balustrade. And I visited there at the end of the summer, so it's already in September. So at the sunset moment, it's a bit chilly, so people on the bike already wear the jacket, but the people on the sidewalk, they are on t-shirts. And so what is actually happening here is synchronicity of 2 different behaviors, maybe 3 different behaviors. Okay, the biggest one is the sun setting down. This is daily behavior of the sun. And then second is the heat absorbed in the stone balustrade is now radiating out and warming the back of the people, leaning on it. So people are leaning on the stone balustrade on feeling the warmth from the stone. And so there are three behaviors, the sun behavior and heat behavior and human behavior correlate and coordinated in this moment. And I think this is very primitive ideas, primitive case, primitive mode of architectural intelligence. So architecture is somehow makes these behavior work together and create delightful moments. So I think this is it. There is no architecture. Yeah, there is not new architecture there. Beside the stone, beside the bridge, but the synchronicity or coordination or cooperation between different behaviors can be observed as emergence of architectural intelligence. And I have several. This is Luxembourg, Parc de Luxembourg in Paris. There is a chair everywhere made of metal and painted in same dark green. And the people can change the location and arrangement according to their wish. So you can sometimes see the circle arrangement of chair without anyone. But it tells a few minutes ago, there are a group of people who sit together and discuss or chat. And then this is also, the behavior of the chair actually trace the behavior of the people. Or we can say behavior of the people arranged by the arrangement of the chair. So this is a cherry blossom moment in Tokyo Tech. We have old cherries in front of the main building, and it's really appreciated by the neighbors. Many people come to enjoy watching and cherry tree, but together with drink and meals. So they sit down on the floor and drink and eat together and celebrate the arrival of spring. So the scene is like this, and they are not university people. We didn't ask them to come to enjoy cherry blossoming, but they know how to behave in this moment. And so we can say that this is the synchronicity of annual behavior of cherry blossom once a year and daily behavior of the people, drink and eat. And by overlaying, by synchronizing these two, the daily behavior, daily rhythm to the annual rhythm of cherry behavior, the people express appreciation of to the cherry, and this tells quite essential concept of what is public space in Japan. It's not about symbolism. It's not about the monumentality of the building governing the empty property in front of it, but it is more about the synchronicity of the rhythm. And so it's a bit different from Western understanding of the public space. Yeah. And next is in Barcelona, the area called Rocket. And it's on the hillside of Barcelona, watching down the view to Barcelona together, Mediterranean Sea as its background. And I found a quite interesting square on the rooftop of newly built metro stations in this neighborhood. Actually, what I have, the first time I visited there, I found it reminds me Andalusian village on the hill. Andalusia is the southern part of Spain, and the cities of the famous beautiful villages on the mountain, on the hill, they are all in white, painted by plaster, and very organically they grasped the topography, and then it becomes really part of the geographical and the topographical scenery, and then but it was correct, because my impression was correct, because area used to be informal settlement built by the migrants from Andalusia to work on construction site in 1920s. And I heard from the Barcelona friends that these workers, migrant workers from Andalusia, brought bricks in their pockets every day. And so basically 1 or 2 bricks every day from the site in the city, and then bring them back to this hilly neighborhood, and then in the weekend they built their houses little by little. So the method wise and the sense aesthetic wise and the typology wise, it's really rooted to the Andalusian village. And but recently it's well consolidated into Barcelona, and city built this kind of public elevator and metro station, and then this rooftop appears. And but there is a quite interesting contrast between the on the city side, with a very nice view to the city on the right side, and the left side where the guys are gathering to do something together. And I realized that they are enjoying birds. It's a hobby of Andalusian guys, adults, and they bring the birds' cage from their house to show each other and listen voices of the birds. Yeah, in China, I also encounter this kind of scene, enjoying the birds in the cage in cafe in the morning. And there are only guys, and but this is also it also happens in Barcelona by the people from Andalusia. And but the architect who designed this square probably didn't know this shared behavior among people living in this neighborhood. So there is no installations which allows people to put bird cage on this good view side of the square, and then they are using the bench or the balustrade to position to put bird cage on, and then the behavior of the guys looks unsophisticated, but it's not their fault. But it's I think it's a mistake of architects who miss opportunity to integrate this behavior into the design of the square. So yeah, we are quite responsible in that sense to design the public space, and so yeah, there are many, but maybe I have to stop somewhere. And yes, yeah. So how can we apply this kind of understanding of behavior in the public space? The importance is with body presence and the behaviors people appropriate on the city corner, some part of the city. And the program is not prepared by the government. It's neither by the commercial industries. It is emerged quite spontaneously from the people's from the people, and I'm very interested in this kind of autonomy or independence of the people from the system. And of course they belongs to certain cultural sphere and shares social canons, and but these canons is not forced from outside, but it's already embedded in their bodies and mind, and so it's owned by people. So I really like to withdraw these behavior which already own or embedded in each individuals, and to create a kind of shareable moment in the city, which can be called public space. Canal Swimmers Club was built in Bruges in 2015 under the framework of the Bruges Triennale. And Bruges is a quite old city. It's an international port from 13th century. And also it is in the inland city, but they developed this inland city as an international port by utilizing the disaster brought by tsunami from Atlantic Sea. So the river connecting these canals surrounding Bruges and the sea was widened by tsunami in 12th century, and then they utilize this tsunami devastation into canal, and then made better connection to the ocean. And then they become a quite important port. And well, until 1976, and then Bruges, but the Bruges stopped trading in a physical sense already in 14th century or 15th century, and then they start stock market, and so it became a kind of financial city quite early in the world history, and capital accumulated in this small town. So they have there are tons of beautiful artworks and paintings. There are many museums within it. And then since they are quite rich and the city wasn't regenerated by the industrialization. So in 1980s, I guess, it became a World Heritage Site of UNESCO. And now 1.5 million tourists visit to this small town with 100,000 population. And then most of the public space is occupied by tourists nowadays. And then also from 1976, the canal was closed for public access, and city prohibited to swim because the water quality was very bad. It's very polluted. Sewage system established in the Middle Age didn't really work for modern chemical soaps and etc. from the kitchen, and then it became quite stinky and dirty. So for 40 years, swimming was prohibited in this canal, and then at the same moment of the same timing of the Bruges Triennale, city wanted to reopen the canal for swimming again because the water quality was improved a lot by the newly introduced sewage system, and then but there is still barrier in the mindset of the people. So we need some sort of a device to lower this barrier and let them access to the water. So nowadays, before this project, the canal was utilized only for the tourist boat, and the site was covered by platanus tree, which was hanging over the canal, and then we couldn't touch this tree because it's also protected. And then the quay made of stone, constructed by stone, is also protected. So, and then also this small flower sprouting from the stone wall was also protected because this is an indigenous plant from South America, and it's evidence that Bruges used to be international port. So, and then we try to find a solution to make hovering structure on the water, and we found this pontoon, which is utilized for the military purpose nowadays, and then we design also the shade on top of it to give shadow. And then, so this is a model connecting two sides of the bridge. And then this is a view on May 20, the opening day of Biennale. But the temperature-wise, it's quite cold day, like 11 degrees. It's not the temperature to swim. But since our project is about swimming, so the next day we try to swim together with local architects. But in June it was very hot, so high school kids start swimming in this place. This is my colleague in Bruges. So we jump into the water. Oops. Hi. Yeah, what I observed in this place, in this Canal Swimmers Club, was old man, the grandfather, taught swimming to the grandson and daughter. So it's two different generation enjoy swimming, teaching and learning. And I'm sure that this old man, grandfather, used to swim in this canal when he was a teenager. And so I'm very happy to see people enjoying swimming. And this project really tells how the barrier between people and local resources can be lowered by introducing certain architectural intervention. So this platform lowers the barrier between people and water, and then let them swim in this water. And then it becomes a new collective behavior of the people in the Bruges in summer. And the repetition of this kind of event can be part of the culture of Bruges. Yeah. So another club. So I use a club in the Canal Swimmers Club because it's a club building, but same time it's a fictional membership of the people who enjoy swimming. So I imagine the crowds enjoying swimming at the same time in the canal, and transform this part of the canal into a public space. And so how to support this kind of collective behavior? And then this is the starting point of our design. So, okay, we need a platform floating on the water to make jumping into the water easier, or to sunbathe just next to the water. And it's also catches attention from the people walking on the street. So it's create a kind of a theatrical setting between pedestrians and people on the deck, on this platform, on the barge. So this is a way to design this club. And the club is both architectural installation or intervention, but same time fictional membership of the people. And then this project called Fire Foodies Club, she realized in Shenzhen in 2017. Starting from the observation of the city of Shenzhen, which is now occupied. Yeah, some area is newly developed area. Is always with this skyscraper condominium or skyscraper office and extremely dense vegetation on the foot of the building. So it's actually the interpretation of Villeradius, the Rayant city by Le Corbusier, which was proposed for for Paris in the beginning of the 20th century, releasing the ground for the green and then let people living in sky. But in the drawings of Corbusier, the vegetation on the ground level is quite modest and a lot of open space between trees. But in Shenzhen, since it's subtropical environment, climate, the tree grows quite fast and largely. And I saw many maintenance, many city staff, many people are working for cutting branches and cleaning the falling leaves and producing biodebris in the middle of the city. I didn't know. I don't know how they manage these biodebris in the city. It can be, but I thought it can be kind of energy resources if you burn it. And Biennale venue was in the Nanto old town, one of the urban village in Shenzhen. And it's a very lively neighborhood. When you walk on the street, you can encounter so many people cooking on the street, and then it means kitchen is always on the street side, not in the deep inside of the shop, the building. And then you see the fire, real fire, cooking something. And then I really want to invite them to work together with us on utilizing this biomass debris produced by the maintenance of the vegetation in the hyper-modern city. And so I imagine I drew this kind of cartoons at the bottom. So from left, so the green is green on the vegetation on the ground level of high-rise city needs maintenance and then produce biomass debris and can be firewood. And then the Nanto urban village full of cooking behavior on the street. And then my hypothesis is to let them meet together in this kind of under the huge chimney, which is called Fire Foodies Club. And I propose 3 sets of the chimney suspended from the steel frame, and it occupies a space between 2 buildings in this urban village, transform it into collective dining space. But it was a moment when PM 2.5 was terrible in China, and the central government asked local government to deal with this issue. WHO first warned China to stop PM 2.5 contamination, the pollution, and then the each local government have to deal with it. And then in the case of Shenzhen, all the burning outside of the building were fully prohibited. So no barbecue, no fires, no cooking with charcoal fire or kind of burning fire from the burning biomass debris. And then our project was somehow interrupted by this new rules, and we wrote all this process and then exhibit also in this together with this installation. And then but we also designed several furnitures to let people to sit and eat something, drink something. Although we can't have a real fire.
去巴塞尔的路上
we wrote hot pot to
来这么
eat
几天，深圳、广州
together. And so what else? I have this type of the series of micro public space and this the appropriation of a public space by the behavior developed further into the project like BMW Guggenheim Lab. So Guggenheim asked us to design the traveling structure in different places in the world to host the people and events discussing about urban issues in each city. And it's a kind of a toolbox traveling around the world. And the first venue was New York. And then it's downtown, Lower East, downtown, and between First Street and Houston Street. And it used to be a kind of a courtyard in the tenement buildings. And new development of the Houston Street cut the block, and then the one side of the tenement building destroyed, and then this open space appeared, and then this gap space between buildings was produced by the collapsion of old tenement buildings in 15 or 20 years ago. And then we inserted this floating structure made of carbon fiber, extremely light structure, together with all the instruments and the equipment on the upper volumes. And then you can bring them down to transform the mold on the ground level, and then bring them up to clean the ground level free from anything. So it's we introduce a metaphor of this stage and the flight tower from opera theater, and but utilizing it for this kind of alternative event space in the city. And it went to Berlin and then finally to Mumbai and in India. So, yes, we have to skip. Oops, it's heavy. これでね。Yeah, the New York, yes. This is New York. And then Yeah, this is a lecture setting. Nothing, just a walkway, lecturing, film viewing, and workshop and gaming. And the lady with dog can pass through the people enjoying games. In Berlin, we installed this structure in the middle of the courtyard, next to the Aedes gallery. In New York, the theme was confronting comfort. So imagining the imagining the externalized network behind your comfort. For example, if you are drinking a very cold beer from refrigerator, but where this electricity to cool the beer come from, and it can be Fukushima nuclear power plant, for example. And then after the 2011 big tsunami, the area was really suffering with this explosion. So our comfort can be someone's uncomfort. And this is a theme of New York, confronting comfort. And in Berlin, the theme was how make can change city. Make means doing by yourself, by your hands. So if you have skills to repair everything, repair your daily objects or home appliance, computers, you don't need to buy more. But nowadays, all these products provided from industry, designed together with it's a program to become out of function in few years. So it really discourages engineers and designers to produce these kind of products, and then also make our livelihood a little bit suffocating. So the third city was Mumbai, but at that moment we couldn't achieve to bring this expensive carbon fiber structure together with a Swiss construction company. And then Guggenheim asked us, Guggenheim gave up to bring it, and then asked us to redesign the structure, utilizing the local materials and skills. So we went to Mumbai to find this bamboo structure called mandapa. It's a temporary structure, but for celebration of wedding and festivals. And they are not independent structure. They are always leaning towards existing trees and fence, and so they are kind of a parasite to the fixed structure in the city. But in the case of our structure, the location was the backyard of the National Museum, where every single trees are listed, and the structure should be standalone and standing alone. And then so we tested so many joints with bamboos, and then this is a structure halfly prefabricated in the factory. So the construction is without machine; it's all by hands. So it's very silent, and it happens also on site, and very silently. Everything goes on. It's a quite beautiful construction, and also silent construction, so which I like a lot. And yeah, So the night, the volume start to be more visible. Okay, but in this case, we also designed the traveling structure for the poor neighborhood, because the economical segregation is very harsh in India, in Mumbai. People living in this remote neighborhood from the city center where museums concentrate can't afford to pay the ticket to go to museum. So Guggenheim decided to bring their structure to offer the program to the neighbors, to the people living in this poor neighborhood. Yeah, I couldn't visit the moment when this traveling structure host kids and women and of the neighborhood and to discuss about their livelihood, etc. But I think it's a very good program. So I think I spent already 1 hour and 20 minutes. I have more slides, but maybe it's better to stop talking, because today it's about commonalities. So maybe I have more questions from the audience. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Maybe open-minded to all of us, including the audience. 谢谢我们总本老师给我们一个非常精彩的一个讲座。那么我们接下来呢，刚才总本老师也说了，他可能能介绍很多，但是必须打住，因为也许我们的听众有很多的问题。当然，因为今天的时间关系，因为日本那边的时间已经比我们晚了1个小时，所以总本老师那边已经很晚，所以我们今天的问题可能还是得挑几个，精选几个。所以呢，我想第一个问题还是就是请我们的王俊阳老师这边来提问题。后面2个问题呢，我想留给我们今天的这个听众。So because of time, we quickly move to the questions sessions. Okay. First question maybe from Professor Colin Wu Wang. 王老师，请。
Okay. Yes. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to join this online discussion. I have many questions actually, but maybe I have to limit my questions to 1 or 2. From the lecture, I see a kind of continuity and new concern in comparison to your early work ever since made in Tokyo. Continuity in the sense that you are committed to accommodate or accept the present state of things while looking for the justifications for their existence. Continuity also in the sense of behaviorology, consisting natural behavior, architectural behavior, and human behavior, right?
Yeah.
New concerns in the sense that you are now taking for your self a sort of social ambition to looking beyond, a sort of individualization of the society by raising concern for commonality or the production of behavior. That is to say, how public space can emerge by the activity of people rather than given by planners, architects, whatsoever. But anyway, I think commonality is a central word, but also a difficult word. And I believe it will remain difficult to the Chinese readers when it comes to this book. So I like to focus my question on the meaning of commonality. First of all, is commonality simply no more than about bringing people together or waiting to see what will happen with a given public space without any predetermined ideas or expectation? Yeah, that's my first question. Okay.
Yes. Oh, thank you very much. It's a very interesting questions, and yes. I don't. Yes, every time it's a kind of we don't know whether people actually behave as we imagine. And then sometimes it doesn't work, and then sometimes we need some instruction. And then once they understand it, and then they start enjoy it. But basically, our idea is shifting, transforming the existing behaviors, the existing element of the place a little bit, and then create a kind of a different conditions, different mode. And so it's this differentiation also activate the behavior itself, and which potentially there, which already embedded in each individuals, and then architectural intervention is really powerful to achieve this kind of shift and transformation. And I also like our work, our intervention can finally complete together with the participation of the people, by the people. So if people start to utilize it and then create a kind of crowds around it, and then our project complete, but it's not in that sense that the final result is always undefined and unexpected, as you said. And but we believe people, and we let them perform or behave together with their nature. And yeah, so is it okay? And then the word commonality, so when we discuss about the title of the book, it's we spent a lot of time. We discussed a lot because we could use the word commons, which is more popular than commonality, but at that time, commons, nowadays I use commons a lot. I can also give a lecture under the title of Reconstructing Commons, showing our new activities and new projects. But until that moment, in 2015, I wasn't ready to show my ideas with this our project with the idea of reconstructing commons. But and at the same time, commons often means the collectively owned property, or collectively owned forest, or collectively owned landscape. So it's always strongly related to the land. So I wanted to avoid this misunderstanding of what we are discussing in this book, which is more addressing to the more phenomenal or ephemeral issues like behaviors. And so since why I use the word commonalities rather than commons.
Okay. Yes, I understand perfectly that the intention that you use the word in commonality, because quite often you're talking about the public space and collectivity that happens in that kind of a public space. But my question is that you shifting a lot while you talking about public space as such, and also your work as an architect, and how you connect all these two kind of categories together under the concept of commonality. So my understanding is that maybe commonality means observing people's lives on one hand, and stimulating or supporting people's life through sort of architecture intervention, like your project in Bourget, or your project in Shenzhen Biennale. That is, you find a sort of way of life of the people, and then you amplify that kind of way of work, way of life through architecture works. Yeah, is that correct?
Yes. It's we try to. Yeah, we every time by visiting the place, we observe how people spend time together, and in which kind of place people feel happy and delightful. And so I really like to see people enjoying the taking appropriating the certain part of the city with their own behaviors, and they feel at ease, and then they feel very confident on themselves because they are organizing the place by themselves, and they know how to behave. And so this is a really very strongly related to the happiness of the people. And so if and then I really our intention is to amplify this happiness and delightful moment through architectural intervention. And we often call this operation unlocking behavior. So, for example, swimming in canal was locked for 40 years, has been locked for 40 years by the pollution of the water. But since the pollution of water, the water quality improved in the last few years. And then, but there are still barriers between people and water, especially in their mind. So how to lower this barrier is a very challenging, it's a real challenge for us. And by how to unlock the behavior of swimming in the canal water. And then we introduce this floating platform to let them much closer to the water surface than compared to the street level, and then let them jump into the water together with others. It's a kind of unlocking.
But without resolving the problem of pollution first, before that, it's still polluted water.
It's improved. It's okay.
It's improved.
It's okay. It's improved. Okay. It's okay quality now. So it's also the intention of Bruges City to announce this improvement of the water quality to the public. And then it's possible just announcing by TV, by news, by letters, but the best way is to let people jump into the water. So unlocking behavior is, I think, we recently had a design studio together with master students in Tokyo Tech, and we observe the city, the one neighborhood in Tokyo, and then find the locked behavior. So, and then we try to how to unlock this behavior, which is a barrier, which limits the behavior of the people. Although they have a dream or they have a wish to do something in certain manner, but society doesn't allow it. So how to unlock this barrier or limitation? And this is a discussion. And architecture can really serve for this, because architecture really serves locking behavior of the people. So once we can reverse this locking operation of the people's behavior in different direction for unlocking, releasing it. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Guo Yiming, how many minutes I've got for more questions? Or
okay for you.
Okay,
I think it's no problem.
All right.
Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm enjoying. Yes.
If I may, yes. In my understanding, contrary to the behaviorism, that is concerned with stimulus and reaction in building environment. And by that means to control or to determine human behavior. You are quite clear that you don't believe that kind of determination. So if architecture cannot determine people's behavior, what determines commonality?
It's educations and the cultural inheritance, cultural heritage or customs and habitus, and which is shared among people to be member of the society. And I think this is it's actually invisible, but it's almost like a construct. It's almost like architecture, which guides us to behave in certain manner. Yeah, so it's for example, when people die, someone die, and how to deal with death, with this or hard death, without any formality, formal or without any ritual of behavior, we can't really deal with this lost, the disappearance of the life of one person who are familiar with you, who are friends of you, or who are relative, or who are family of you. And then this kind of rituals, like a funeral ceremony, is also a kind of a format to bring our body into certain series of behaviors, and then make ourselves to understand and to accept what actually happens. And then these ritual behaviors are shared among the society, and then you can show your condolence to others when someone lost their family or something like that. So maybe it's to exaggerate the example, but even in daily life, we have similar construct as a series of behaviors, and which can really guide us to be member of society.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
My last question. Okay, I'd like to bring the topic of this lecture back to your earlier work of Made in Tokyo that you mentioned in the beginning of this lecture. Is it possible to say Made in Tokyo is a sort of a production of behavior beyond or without commonality?
Yeah. But I think there is it's a production together, based on the commonalities among people's Tokyo people's manner to deal with built environment. So the one very important discovery, findings from Made in Tokyo was these examples shows the completeness or wholeness of the one building is less important than the wholeness which architect believe in each project. So architect believe, okay, this is my work. So this is one complete building. So this must be independent from others. It must be quite edgy, and it must be quite intelligent than surrounding environment. So, but actually, the examples of made in Tokyo really utilize adjacent environment and adjacent existing structure to be part of themselves, and then enriching the whole environment together with. And this relational perspective is really important for me as discovery in Made in Tokyo. And then I think this sensibility is shared among these some examples. And it's nowadays I recently realized that this is this shows different perspective from the concept of space. So architects the modern architectural theory was really constructed upon the concept of space. And then the word space is really governing the architectural discourses. But when you try to grasp this space in the discussion of one building, you have to limit the outlines of your building or of the project. So space needs these outlines to be closed and to be complete, and then this sometimes externalize the important network between things, and then can allow architect and engineer to ignore the adjacent conditions and surroundings, and so can be independent object as a kind of a production of construction industry. But in the case of Made in Tokyo, these buildings shows how this kind of spatial perspective expired in the Tokyo environment, and then shows another perspective to work together with surroundings and the environment, and based on the relations rather than the concept of space. So I recently criticized space from this point of view.
Okay, I could ask more questions, but I'd like to give time to other listeners. So
okay,
yeah, that's the
Thank
end
you
of-
very much.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Yeah.
For Professor Wang's questions. And because of the time, I just selected two typical questions from the audience. One, actually, there are so many questions, but I just selected two of this. One is the first question is the behaviorology theory suitable for the design of large scale buildings? This is the first question. And the second question is, what's the difference between behaviorology and the environment behavior theory popular in 1970s? Okay.
Yeah, behaviorology can apply into large scale, of course, because and then with large scale we can probably the behavior of the climate or behavior of the landscape, topography, all these things becomes more and more relevant and apparent, and of course human behavior stays important, but I think we can apply the behaviorology in many different scales, because The behaviorology is a ecological term in architectural design theory, and this the ecological term introduce the non-scalability and but same time scalability. Basically, it's based on the ecological aspect between the relationship between elements, different agent or different elements which behave based on its own nature principles. And then the ecology has certain scale dimension. And then, but this, so it's called non-scalable, and it's not it's very different from Cartesian grid, with abstract grid which can grow forever, and infinitive growth is possible. Actually impossible, but theoretical wise, theory wise, it's possible. But if you focus on this relationship between different elements which behave based on its own nature, the set of elements forming ecology doesn't go beyond certain dimension boundary. So each it means each dimensions you can find different elements to behave together. So there are different ecology in different different scales. So even in the large scale, you can find different elements which behave together in a synchronized way. And then architectural design, behaviorology can approach into this relationship and then understand it, and then also intervene it to make them perform better, for example. And it's so this non-scalability is very important in behaviorology also. And but at the same time, since it is focusing on the relationship between elements and behaviors, the size is not it's not so important anymore. So if you are working in a spatial perspective, and then as I explained, it's also oblige you to think about outlines. How large is it? How small is it? So in order to define the space, you need to define the outlines anyway. And then this gives you kind of a sense of comparison between, oh, this is small, this is middle, this is large, this is X large, etc., etc. And then it's reflect economical dimension also. Small project is less doesn't really mobilize the big capital, but the large projects mobilize a lot of money, and then this reflects on the business financial perspective to judge which project is more important or not. But some architects, normally people believe that the large project is more important than small project. But I think behaviorology allows us to cancel this perspective based on the size. And size matters categorization by industries. So you can also cancel the categorization by industry as well. And the second question is about 70s behavior difference between from behaviorology and behaviorism from 1970s. So behaviorism also observes the behavior, but with intention to control them and govern them, as Professor Wong introduced into our conversation. And this is the behaviorology starts from the giving up the right to control, right to govern. What we can, because we can't really change the nature of each individuals and each elements of natural elements. We can't really change the water to run from bottom to top. So water always run from top to bottom according to the gravity. And then we can't really intervene into this natural principle. And so but we can design the capacity of behavior. So we call this behavioral capacity. So we can utilize the behavior of the water which wants to flow from top to down, but in different shape. But shape can be guided by the designing the dike, for example, or pool, or the series of cascade. This is possible to guide the behavior of the water. And then the designing dike, pool, and cascade, this is designing the behavioral capacity of the water. So I think same things can also apply. I always think about in the architecture design in this manner. Also, if the to deal with to work with people. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 我们今天的那个时间应该已经差不多了。我觉得问题我们有很多的问题，刚才我们的那个葛老师说了，也许我们还有机会，我们今后再开一场，我们可以专门就针对有些问题我们来一起讨论。如果有机会的话，我们还可以再邀请总本老师来一起讨论。Okay, thank you, Professor Tsukamoto. Thank you, Professor Wang Junyang and Professor Germing. And maybe I think we are producing some kind of commonality right now, beyond the physical distance. Yes. Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
When the book when the book will out?
Yeah, it's already published.
It's already?
Yes.
Don't you have okay. I didn't see it, so please send me some copies. Thank you very much.
Thank you much.
Okay.
那我们今天就再见了，谢谢各位。
你好，再见，再见。
再见 ，Thank you，Thank you。
再见，再见。
Welcome to China.
Yeah.